morning, everyone. Hello, my ABM student. How are you doing? I do hope that you are all fine and doing well. I am Ma'am Karen, your organ management teacher, and welcome to our virtual class. So our topic will be environmental forces and environmental scanning. This will be our objectives. At the end of the lesson, the students are expected to be able to analyze various forces and elements influencing local and international business environment using pest and SWOT analysis. So, before we proceed to our proper discussion for this week, let's define first some terminologies that we will be meeting along with our discussion. First will be environmental scanning. Environmental scanning is seeking for and is sorting through data about the environment. External business environment. This refers to the factors or elements outside the organization, which may affect either positively or negatively the performance of the organization. Internal business environment. It refers to the factors or elements inside the organization, which may affect either positively or negatively the performance of the organization. Next will be microenvironment. Microenvironment includes those players whose decisions and actions have a direct impact to the company, while macro environment refers to a condition that exists in the economy as a whole rather than in a particular sector or region. Okay? So before we start our discussion, I want you to prepare your ballpen, notebook, and of course, I want you to be a good listener. And if you want to be a good listener, only your eyes and ears are open. So, let's start. So, let's try this one before we start our discussion. We will match column A and column B and write the corresponding letter on the space provided. So, get your ballpen and your notebook and write the answer. So, the mechanics will be the students or you are given 2 minutes to match the column A and B. So, only 2 minutes will be given to answer those questions. You have 5 questions. So, you may start now. Okay, time is up. So, let's see if your answers is correct. So, for the answer, number 1 will be letter D. It is a process of determining objectives and organizational goals. The answer is planning. If your answer is letter D, you are correct. Next will be number 2 is management theories that uses procedural and scientific methods from simple to more complex one, which focus on customer satisfaction. So if your answer is scientific management theory, you are also correct. Next will be management philosophy that focuses on the satisfaction rather of customer, their needs and expectations. So if your answer is total quality management, you are correct. This is a step and actions that are required to achieve goals. And if your answer is plans, you are also correct. So next will be, the last one will be, refers the management level, also known as corporate managers, general and strategic manager who focus on long-term organizational concern. So if your answer is top level management, you are correct. So very good, class. So if you got 5 correct answer, you are all good in our review on the past lessons. So I will get your scores later after this session. Okay, for your first activity, let us engage. So I will have here some taglines. So company taglines, and you will guess what will be those company. So you will also be given 2 minutes to identify those taglines of various local and international company as follows. So this will be your 5 questions. You have only given 2 minutes to finish your activity. So you may start now. Okay, so well then, let's try to answer those 5 questions. So, number 1 is just do it. So that is correct. That is Nike. Next will be America's runs on Dunkin'. If your answer is Dunkin' Donut, you are correct. What about number 3? That is, we find ways. So, correct. Very good, class. That is a video. Next one will be, impossible is nothing. So, that is, yes, correct. That is Adidas. So, last will be, it's finger licking good. So, that is, yes, very good, class. That is KFC. So, what will be our guide questions on our lessons for today? So, this will be our guide question. What is business environment? What is external and internal environment? And what will be micro and macro environment? So, let's start, class. So, environmental forces and scanning seeks for and sorts through data about the environment. So, when you say environmental scanning, it is a process of gathering information about events and relationship within the organization's internal or external environment. The basic purpose of environmental scanning is to help the management determine the future directions of the organization. So, in business environment, we have two classification or types. That is the internal environment and external environment. So, let's say that all living things or creatures, including us human beings, live within an environment. Is that right? So, as a part of natural environment of human includes family, our friends, peers, and neighbors. So, it includes man-made structures like buildings, furnitures, roads, and other physical infrastructures. The individual do not live in the vacuum. To live their life, they continually interact to their environment. Just like us, human beings, business are also do not function in isolated vacuum. Businesses function within the environment and have to negotiate their way through it. Businesses also depends on the manner on which they will interact with its environment. So, the business must continuously monitor and adapt to environment in order to survive and prosper. Disturbances in businesses will open up as an opportunity or even as a threat for the firm. A successful business has to identify the threats and opportunities and should respond to its environment. Business environment has two types. So the external business environment refers to factors or elements outside the organization that may affect either positively or negatively the performance of the organization. While internal business environment refers to the factors or elements within or inside the organization that may affect either positively or negatively the performance of the organization. So, again, there are two types of business environment, the external and internal environment. We will discuss first the external environment. So, external environment, which refers to the factors, elements outside. So, meaning that is outside the organization. So, that will may affect negatively or positively the performance of the organization. It includes, of course, shareholders, competitors, customers, society, government, laws and regulations, policies, and of course, the technology. It composed of two types. We have the micro environment and macro environment. When you say micro environment, this includes those players whose decision and action have a direct impact on the company. Productions and selling of commodities are the two important aspects of micro environment of business can be divided to various constituents such as suppliers of output, customers, marketing intermediaries, competitors, and public. So let's try to define those terms. So when you say suppliers of output, such as raw materials and its components. Suppliers are those who are ensure availability or delivery of the products to their customers. So normally, most firms do not depend on a single suppliers of inputs. They keep multiple, always remember that they keep multiple suppliers of inputs. So next, we have customers. Customers are those who patronize or buy products and services of the business. When you say customers, the people who will buy the news product are the customers. They are also play an important part of the business environment. A concern in customer satisfaction is very essential in the success of the business. Number 3, marketing intermediaries. It plays an important role in selling and distributing the product to final customers. Marketing plays an important link. Always remember that marketing plays an important link between business firms and its ultimate customers. Next is competitors. Different firms compete for sale of their products, so this competition may be based on pricing of their products and other competition through competitive advertising, such as fostering some events to promote the sale of different variety and models of their product. Because of liberalization and globalization, since the adoption of economic reforms, there has been a significant increase in the competitive environment of the business firm. Next is public. So the public is the important force in an external environment. The environmentalists, media groups, consumer protection groups, some local groups, and associations are some important examples of public, which has an important bearing on the business decision of the firm. The existence of various types of public really influences the working of business firms and compels them to be socially responsible. So that will be the microenvironment. So again, for the microenvironment, we have suppliers, customers, marketing intermediaries, competitors, and the public. Next will be the macro environment. Apart from microenvironment, business firms face large external forces. An important fact about external macro environment is that they are uncontrollable by the management. Because of the uncontrollable nature of macro environment forces, a firm may adjust or adapt on those external factors. So, number 1 factor will be economic situations or economic environment. So, economic situations may affect management practices in organizations, like cost cutting being implemented in the organizations, or postponement of the distribution of companies' bonus to their employees. So, economic environment includes all forces which have economic impact on the business. Accordingly, it consists of agriculture, infrastructure, economic philosophy like GNP, GDP, per capita income, price level, and of course, the population. So next is political-legal situations or political-legal environment. So, this is refers to the national or local laws, international laws and rules and regulations that influences organizational management. For example, corporate laws where the foreigners are allowed to invest 60% in the Philippine corporation. Political legal closely related to the government regulations and policy. It includes the activities of three political institutions. Those are the legislative, the executive, and judiciary, which usually play a useful role in shaping, directing, developing, and controlling business activities. The company itself has no control on this. Next is technological situation. So when you say technological environment, it involves the use of varied types of electronic gadgets within the organizations. Technology is a vital for competitive advantage and is a major driver of globalization. So in technological environment, we are exercising considerable influence on business. It implies a systematic application of scientific or other organized knowledge, practical part or activities to business make it possible for the technology to reach the people in proper format. Next one is the world and ecological situation. We will also define this as a global or international environment. So, this global environment are related to the increasing number of global competitors and markets, including the nature and conditions of the changing natural environment. For example, during this time of pandemic, manufacturers tend to produce more bicycles since there is no public transportations available. Global environment or global or international environment plays an important role in shaping business activity. So, with the liberalization and globalization of the economy, business are become totally different, wherein it has to bear all shocks and benefits arising in global environment. Next is the socio-cultural situation. It includes the customers' changing values and preferences, such as being health conscious. When you say socio-cultural environment, it influences business environment indirectly. Why? It includes the work attitude of people, the ethical issues, role of family. We have marriage, religion, and also social responsiveness of the business. So, after the external factors or the external environment, we will now have the internal environment. So, internal environment, we have stakeholders, customers, suppliers, pressure groups, and investors. So, the stakeholders are the parties likely affected by the activities of the organizations. While customers, as mentioned a while ago, are those who patronize or buy the products and services of the business. Suppliers of raw materials are those who ensure availability and delivery of the products to their customer. While pressure groups are a special interest group that try to exert influence on the organization's decisions or actions. Investors or owners provide the company with the financial supports it needs And last will be the employees who work for the company in exchange of salaries and wages or other considerations. So, do you have any question regarding our business environment? So, again, for the review, there are two types of business environment, the external and internal environment. External environment are composed of micro and macro environment, while the internal environment, which is directly influences the organization inside, okay, that is inside the organizations, are those people who are directly influences within the organization. So, do you have any queries? If there is no queries, so let's try to have this application. Okay, direction. The learner will be given 2 minutes to analyze and identify the given items. Match column A to column B. So get your notebook and your ballpen and answer the 5 questions. Okay, so you may start now. Okay, so time is up. Let's check your answer. So number 1 will be world and ecological situation. Number 2, socio-cultural situation. Number 3, economic situation. Number 4 is political legal situation. And number 5 is technological situation. So that's it, my students. We are done with our week 3 of organization and management. So let me give you these quotes. Self-analysis a day keeps my repetitive mistakes away, by Julie Viran. So that is, class. We're done with our week 3 of organization and management. See you next week for our next lesson. Be prepared and always be safe, everyone.